I just saw Joker 2 Folie, Deux, and I almost liked it. Now, right off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of Joker 1. Originally, I think I had a slightly higher opinion of it, but over time, I've really soured on it just because it feels like a movie that believes it has something to say, that just refuses to say something. And that was always my problem with Joker. I don't think every movie needs to say something. I don't think every movie needs to be like a thesis or like a point of view. You know, the first one, it seemed like it was getting at things that were interesting. Mental health, the justice system, you know, poverty, class struggles. There was even a little bit of, hey, you can't make that joke here. Well, society's the joke. I don't know. I guess the Joker as a character just feels like it has been mined to the depths. Though, like, if they made this movie 20 years ago, it would have actually seemed pretty profound. But by now, Joker 1 feels like it's just like, yeah, we know society's bad. He's a troubled guy. But like, what else? Like, what are we getting at with him? And I don't know. It just didn't feel to me like it was a cohesive story. But okay, so Joker Folie, Deux, the highest praise I can give to Joker Folie, Deux, and I'm not going to spoil what happens in this movie. I'm going to be as light as I can. You will get kind of broad strokes from like what you can glean from the trailers. But I'm definitely not going to talk about like the ending. I will just say, I think this movie does have kind of a point of view. It does things that I kind of think are clever. And since that was my biggest issue with Joker 1, how can I not like this more? I do. I think this movie stands as a very interesting complement to Joker 1. Because Joker Folie, Deux is a film about the first Joker movie. It is not a sequel to, like, it is a sequel to it in universe, but it is the characters reanalyzing and reacting to those events in the form of a trial. But it honestly felt, at least at first glance, and maybe this will change over time the more I like watch it, but it felt kind of introspective in a way that was interesting. And I will say Todd Phillips does a good job directing these. There is no good reason why this takes place when it does, but it has a very specific aesthetic that really sticks to. I think maybe the one issue that comes in this time versus last time is last time I feel like Arthur was a character who moved around a lot. Big scenes took place in the subway or in the hospital or Arthur's house or the Murray Franklin show. And Joker Folie, Deux, because it is so focused on the court case, most of the setting is either the prison or the trial. In fact, there's much less than we used to get. Like, as the first Joker movie spends a lot of time with Arthur, but uses him to look at the outside, you know, what's going on in Gotham, why are people upset? There's obviously like a class war about to start, but getting that perspective of Gotham specifically is interesting and was new. I don't think we got really as much of that here. Now, that's not to say that like I think the production felt cheap or anything like that. It just, because of the limitations of the story, it didn't feel as broad and as big as the first Joker movie. The actors are both good, and by both, I mean there's really only two. The other actors in it are fine, right? There's actors you'll recognize, Catherine Keener, Brendan Gleeson. People will show up from the first movie that you're like, oh right, yeah, they were in that first one. But I don't think anybody really gets enough time to do anything memorable besides one character who we'll kind of get to. But Joker and Harley are the main characters, and Joker obviously played by Joaquin Phoenix, Harley played by Lady Gaga. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Lady Gaga? I feel like it's that one. But so he's good. He's the same. I will say, I don't think he needed to lose all the weight again. And there were a couple of scenes where you could see he was really, you know, he was shredded. Like in the first one, because I guess he wasn't eating. And before it was just because he was depressed. And now I guess you would compound that with the fact that he's in prison. They're not giving him lots and lots of food. But I do think for like Joaquin Phoenix's safety and just for the general, I'm not really into this whole everybody lose a lot of weight to play a character like this. It just felt unnecessary. I think he does a good job. I think he's good at acting. I think this character, this Arthur Fleck, is so mercurial and so when he's doing the Joker, like your traditional Joker, especially like your Mark Hamill Joker, loves to do characters and loves to do bits. So you need an actor who is able to play Arthur Fleck, this character, and obviously Joaquin Phoenix can do that. B, able to play Joker, base Joker, and then C, able to play Joker doing a bit. And I think all three of those, very good. I don't think he's an incredibly strong singer. And this is the first time I've mentioned music outside of, I guess, saying the words Lady Gaga. But it does feel like they could have benefited maybe from having that role be the role of a strong singer. I'm not saying we needed to replace him. I don't think that would have made any sense. But I guess it's just weird that we made this musical by taking one of our most talented singers, Lady Gaga, and pairing her with an actor who can sing, obviously, right, Johnny Cash, but it just never really did too much of it here. Let's talk about Lady Gaga. I think she is okay. I actually think the way the movie frames Lee, let's call her, because that's kind of what Arthur calls her, is interesting. Without going into too much detail, there's more going on than just what you see in the trailers or just the basic premise that we're all familiar with Harley Quinn. When I saw this trailer, I was like, Jesus, I thought we'd moved past this. Like, Harley is the love interest and she loves the Joker and she's crazy. Like, it just felt like a take from 10, 15 years ago, especially considering what Harley Quinn's been doing in the comics and obviously in the television show and in the other movies. Like, the fact that we were doing this Harley felt weird. And I think the movie justifies it. And I think Lady Gaga does a good job. It felt like a fine Harley. I don't like it better than Margot Robbie. I think Margot Robbie's a really, really good, like very cartoony Harley Quinn. But like, I think it's okay. The singing, okay. This is for me the area where this movie lost me the most. I was very interested in the idea that this was going to be a musical. I'm a humongous musical fan, and I would be happy and been saying for a while, one of these needs to be a musical. One of these superhero movies needs to commit to the musical thing. Like the Marvels has that one musical planet that they're on for like 5 minutes before one character says, by the way, we don't have to do musical speak anymore. I could speak regular. And it's like, we're doing it. Like TV shows like The Flash will have musical episodes, but like a musical superhero movie, and there's probably one I'm forgetting, but like especially one of the big two, a Marvel or DC property, there's something there. So when I say that I think there was potential, I think there was. I don't know if Todd Phillips is like a good director when it comes to musicals. It's definitely a skill set that I think he has. And I know that because at one point we see a song in this movie. I'll say it happens maybe around 2/3 of the way through. If you think about it for a little bit and watch the trailer, you could probably see what I'm talking about. But it felt like a musical song. It was staged like a musical. I'm not sure if this song, because most of the songs that they played, like even if it's not a musical, because the characters don't just sing, they express their feelings via musical, but whatever, Todd Phillips and Lady Gaga apparently saying in interviews, it's a musical. But beyond that, it is a jukebox musical, which I believe is a term for a musical made up of songs that did not originate in the musical. It's all, either it's from one artist like Jersey Boys or any of the Michael Jackson or Britney Spears or whatever musicals. And sometimes it's a throwback to a specific time period, like the Motown musical, I assume. I haven't seen it. But either way, this was that for old Hollywood, like Frank Sinatra-y movie musical songs. So it was doing those. In fact, there's at least one point, maybe two, where characters are watching a movie musical and just like start singing along to it, kind of. So that is what this movie is. But there was a song that I do think might have been an original song. Let me check. Oh, no, it's real. Is it real? Okay, yeah. Never mind. I was going to say I thought this was an original song because of how well it fit into the movie. This is actually a song that has existed for a very long time from a similar period to the rest of the songs. I won't say which one it is. But again, if you're kind of paying attention, he'll start it and you'll go, oh, that must be the song he's talking about. This scene plays like a musical, in that the emotions get high, the characters in a big dramatic moment, and they start singing, and the main character sings, and other characters that are there get involved. It's this heightened reality that's what is so special about musicals. There's a big difference between that and what is most of this music, which is most of the music in Joaquin Phoenix will be a character doing that thing that you usually do in a musical, where you just say the words to a song. So there'll be a scene where just two characters speaking, or one character to themselves will say, forget your troubles, come on, get happy. And then you'll think like, oh, okay, so now the song is gonna start, and it will, but it'll just be that with maybe a little bit more singing, but it never actually becomes like a musical number. It's just a character singing. It's like karaoke, which is fine, but it does really miss what I think is the most interesting thing this movie could be doing. And I only say that because I don't want to put expectations on the movie that the movie does not put on itself. But it's extra weird because this movie is called Joker Folie, right? It's talking about a shared psychosis. And if I use any words about, psychopaths or anything like that wrong, please, a lot of this is within the realm of what the movie is saying, because they're trying to make the case that Joker has a second personality, split personality. So I don't know if I'm using any of these terms right, but Folie, it's the idea of this shared psychosis. It's the delusion that two people have together. If there was ever a time in any of these for the Joker to start singing and Harley to start singing, and then the world to just join in as this way to visualize, like, Arthur is not just in a world where he's singing. When he is with her, everything's different. Like, everything's turned up to 11. It's not just people giggling. the guards start tap dancing along. Everybody knows the words. They're singing the songs. That, I feel like, would, in this specific story, serve an interesting purpose because it would show the difference between what Joker believes, what Arthur believes, you know, what people are telling him versus what he is seeing, because the movie really is interested in that. And when it does that, the one time it really commits to it, I think it's great. But the movie just doesn't do that. There are a couple of scenes that I would say take place in like a heightened reality. They're more just dreams. I guess I mean those are dreams in terms of like, there's no point where you're like, wait, what are we doing here? Is this real? You're just like, oh, this is what he would like, which is fine. You know, dream ballet, that's the thing that happens in a musical. If it wasn't for the one musical number, I don't know if I would have this expectation. If I would watch the movie and think they could have done this, because they'd go, well, maybe they can't. And like, maybe they tried and couldn't do it, but they could. It could be done. I will say this. I don't know if fans of the first Joker movie are going to like it very much. I think we might have this interesting reversal where people like me who weren't humongous fans of the first movie see this movie and go, oh, that's interesting. And people that did really like the first movie see this movie and go, what is that? And not just on the musical thing, although I have seen people saying that online. Like, why would we want this to be a musical? Again, taking risks like that is interesting. I don't think this is going to resonate with people the same way Joker 1 did. Because Joker 1 was such a surprise hit. And recapturing that, I think we're in a similar place with this. This is my guess. We were in right around the same time a year or two earlier with Aquaman 1 versus Aquaman The Lost Kingdom, where it's like that first one just came out at exactly the right time and it was good and it worked. But even a movie that worked about as well, you know, captures about the same amount of audience, maybe not the exact same audience, but like the same amount of people like it, I think it will not be this big cultural moment the same way Joker 1 was. And I guess just because of that, I wonder if people are going to see it, like if it's going to have an impact. Should you see it? I definitely think it's worth watching. Is it worth watching in a theater? I don't know. Maybe. You know, kind of. It's a very loud movie. Sometimes the music does feel like it overpowers Joaquin Phoenix. Like Lady Gaga also does not do full Lady Gaga singing much, except for one or two points. And you're like, yes, that is we are at both levels. Whereas sometimes, I don't know, it gets really exciting with these big band sounds, but I don't think the vocals frequently can match that. It's a little bit funny. There's some bits that are kind of funny. I'm not going to talk about whether I think we'll get another one or not. I don't think this fits comfortably into what Warner Brothers is trying to do with the cinematic universe, or Batman specifically. So I think for that reason, it's possible if this isn't a humongous hit, this may be the last one of these. I also don't think this is going to get Oscar stuff. It might get some sort of song award, although, like I said, jukebox musical, so I don't know if any of them count. You know, we'll probably get like a Golden Globe nomination for Best Musical Comedy, but I do think compared to other movies that have been out recently, there's other like Best Picture contenders that are starting to reveal themselves that make me go like, oh, we might have, this might be this, you know? Oh, Substance, maybe it's going to be Substance. Maybe we're going to get very brave and make Substance the movie this year. I would love that. But like, I don't know, it just feels like having seen it, this movie will not break through the same way Joker 1 did. It's just kind of a shame because I think it's better, but I do think because it doesn't fully commit to the musical thing. And I don't think this is a like studio thing. Originally, I was like, man, they just won't let it be a musical because that's obviously what they want. That must be what Lady Gaga signed up for. I also heard this is another one of those movies, and this is like a real theme of this year, that they were just rewriting pages on the day. And I'm pretty sure this is Lady Gaga. I saw in an interview say like, yeah, I would show up and go like, all right, what are the pages? And they would go, we came up with new ones the other day. So, you know, forget all those ones you memorized. We're doing this now. And that's annoying, right? I don't like that. But I do think this movie comes together pretty well. There's a character in this movie, I don't know the actor's name, plays one of the lawyers. Sounds very cool. Cool voice on this guy. Almost a little bit like Kevin Spacey. And it's not Kevin Spacey, don't worry. You're not going to see this guy and be confused. But if you hear him, you're like, man, that guy's got a voice. Now, maybe we'll see more of him in the future. I might talk more about him in the spoiler section, because I'm definitely making a spoiler video for this. Overall, I think Joker Folie Deux, I enjoyed it more than Joker 1, but I do not think it is fully succeeding on its own terms, and for that reason, I can't say you gotta run out and see it, but I do think it's interesting and I respect its choices.